Welcome everyone to Growth Hanger's first ever live webinar for our premium members. This webinar was specifically created for 20 of some of our biggest clients. I can actually see some very familiar faces in the chat room. Janet from Red Elephant, how are you doing today? That's very good to hear. David, I will be expecting a jersey in my mail very soon. Now, to those of you who are joining us through our email campaign, which will actually happen a while after this, a very warm welcome to all of you as well. For those of you who don't know, we are Growth Hanger. We are a digital strategy and marketing agency based here in Melbourne, Australia. We've been helping small to medium-sized businesses exponentially grow their business for a couple of years now. We have also actually worked with some of the biggest brands in Australia, including the biggest name in the rideshare industry at the moment. My name is Ash. I'm one of the co-founders here at Growth Hanger Group. I will be joined by Yosh, the other co-founder of Growth Hanger. You'll notice a similarity between our names, but I can assure you there is no relation whatsoever. A bit about myself. I actually started off in the e-commerce sphere in 2010. I started off by going into the family business at a time when e-commerce was also relatively new, and my family wanted to get into that sphere. So I actually took lead and learned quite a bit about it, grew the business to a level where it had never been before. And from that point on, I started doing my own thing, grew a couple of e-commerce websites, just doing a bit of drop shipping, did a lot on eBay. Some eBay stores that I worked on actually grew to $1 million in revenue per year. But this was at the very early stages. It's a much tougher market now. And from that point onwards, I've gone into the digital marketing sphere based on all that knowledge I've learned in the past. And I've been helping businesses ever since. One of the main reasons we actually started Growth Hanger was to help out businesses like yourself, small to medium-sized enterprises, actually really get the right information to be able to grow your information, because we realize the market is going to get very saturated with the wrong advice or the wrong type of experts or gurus, random people from America or Europe who are just misinforming Australian businesses and giving them bad strategic advice in terms of growing their business in the digital sphere. So that's a bit about me and Growth Hanger. Yosh, what about you?
Yeah, so I started my first affiliate website in 2005 with Amazon, selling coffee machines online. And from there, I've basically exponentially grown my reach and digital sort of e-commerce strategy. Went on to be selling ebooks and other digital products online through various funnels, which we'll go through later. We'll explain what a funnel is. And then I went on to work for some of Australia's biggest e-commerce companies and ride-sharing platforms. Basically here at Growth Hanger, what we're looking to do is provide information to the people in the general business people that are trying their best to succeed in the modern digital era. Maybe they're not sure what the best starting place is and foundation is to really prepare themselves for the future and really future-proof their businesses and growth online as everything seems to move online. And not be left behind like some of those other businesses like Blockbuster and some of those other businesses that have been closing down recently, like Toys R Us, and even Big W has been closing down a few stores too. So definitely to help you guys stay afloat in this new digital economy. And part of that is understanding basically your target audience. But we'll go through this in an analogy. We've got a very good analogy that we've got prepared for you to help you really just understand in a very simplistic manner how you should be talking to your key audience. Ash, do you want to run through that sort of analogy?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Josh. So what myself and Josh, we were actually having a chat the other day about where businesses do get it wrong. And something funny that we realized, if you have ever been in the dating field, I know some of you might be single, some of you might be happily married with kids, but we have all been single and on the market at one point or the other, and we all know how difficult it could be. And especially in a day and age where apps like Tinder, OkCupid, and all these weird apps are just dominating the market. Dating is a very good analogy to really compare where businesses are getting it wrong. So imagine this. Imagine on a Friday night, you and a couple of friends. Imagine you're single. David's put in a funny comment. He's like, I wish. Imagine you were single and you get a bunch of single friends and you're visiting the nearest singles bar in town, middle of Melbourne CBD. You go to this bar, and what's the first thing you do? You walk up to the first person you see standing at the bar ordering a drink. You go up to them, get on one knee, and propose. You pop the big question. You ask them to marry you. What do you think is going to happen? Any answers from our
just pop it down in the comments, guys? Yep.
Janet said she would probably throw her drink in that person's face.
Janet, come on, please. Keep it PG.
Some members are saying, everyone would be laughing, lots of confusion, but you get the general idea. It's weird. It's outrageous. It's actually real silly. But that is essentially what most businesses are trying to do. When we get new clients or new business partners to work with us, they all seem to be most of the time doing this exact same thing. And I'm not exactly saying this is an error that will always continue for you, because just like these businesses, we used to be in the exact same place. We used to be calling every day from a share house. We would just be going after the wrong people. We'd be like, buy our product, buy our services. We had no idea what we were doing, essentially. And we were just reaching the wrong people at the wrong time with the wrong offers. And that is the key thing that most businesses get wrong. And that also sort of brings us to the first topic that we're going to discuss today, which revolves around identifying and really understanding what we call the angel buyer. So let's just dive right into who an angel buyer is. Yash?
Yeah, so an angel buyer. Well, basically an angel buyer is your ideal customer. So basically that person is the one that's going to bring you the most revenue, and they're going to be the best fit for your business. So if anyone out there has heard of Pareto's law, this is just a law of nature where basically 80% of profits, for example, come from 20% of your customers. So in this instance, that's why it's so important to be targeting this angel buyer. And what we've actually done is we take this a step further. We actually we'd break that down again by another 80-20. So we're targeting the 4% here, and this 4% gets over 60% of the total revenue generated based on our statistics and our research and all our battle testing. So basically what we want to do is, first step is, how do we find out who your dream angel buyer is. So to do that, we've actually set a few guidelines for ourselves in our own business to help us help our clients figure out how to find this angel buyer. And we've got a special worksheet that we work off. We might be able to, Ash, we might be able to make that available to our free audience potentially, if they. But we might not. We have to decide. We might not. You have to stay in the loop, and you might get a freebie, guys. So just hang in there. But premium members get access to this. So basically, what we've got is a table. So what basically at the very top we've got theme. And then we're working our way down. We've got hopes and dreams, pains and fears, barriers and uncertainties. And then across to the right, we've got some columns. We've got the most common number of these issues. So pains and fears, for example, most common pains and fears for your customer, or hopes and dreams. Then we've got the second most common, then we've got the third most common on a different column. And then we've ranked all these and we've given them a ranking. So we've said, for example, if it's a dentist, their biggest fear is, losing their tooth at the dentist, for example. That was showing up based on our research to be their number one fear. And the way we figured that out is we actually go online and we search Google, we search popular blogs, LinkedIn, forums, YouTube comments, Amazon reviews, Reddit, Quora, and other social media platforms to get all that information. And we aggregate that all together. And we put it into the spreadsheet. And actually one other site, one of our favorites is answerthepublic.com as well. It's very good for getting that feedback too. So we put that into the spreadsheet. And then once we've done that, we've got the basis of our angel buyer. So from there, we can actually dive deeper into what else can we get out of this angel buyer. So a few other things that we can dig deeper into once we've got that information is, where does your dream buyer hang out and congregate? So we want to name both, the offline and online places where they hang out. So something, for example, like hangs out on Facebook would be too general, but something more like hangs out in the Pugs of Melbourne Facebook group is much more precise and like actionable.
Yes, that's actually, Josh, that's actually from a real life example, I believe. We were, one of our business partners was actually selling pug related items.
Yeah.
So that was the very specific niche. So what we found out was there were very specific groups devoted to just talking about, pug owners talking about their own pugs and sharing funny photos.
Yeah. Yeah. And we found a lot of them like to hang out in Facebook groups, and on Instagram. So we had to find out where they all hang out, and, those are the main places. And that's all based on research. It's all based on, and that leads us into how we're going to do our targeting. So, and then we also have from there, where does your dream buyer get their information? So when they're in research mode, where do they go? Do they go to Seek? Do they go to Google, a blog, a book, magazines, YouTube? And we want to put that into one sentence. So for example, when Jenny is curious about pugs, the first place she goes to is Instagram on her iPhone and hashtag Instapugs, for example.
Yeah, guys, I want to actually include a very, I think, important bit of information here. A little bit of, it could almost be a secret because people don't really think about this. Go and visit Reddit. Go to the subreddit that belongs to the specific industry that you're in. It has very detailed information usually. The discussions are more in depth, so you understand them a lot more when you say so.
Yeah, that's great advice, Ash. That's very good advice. Okay, and moving on. So now you want to figure out what are their biggest frustrations and challenges. So we really need to empathize with their frustrations and challenges. So by knowing what it's like walking in our customers' shoes, we'll be able to create better products and services that address their specific pain points and problems. So for example, maybe someone says, I wish someone would just do the sales for me. They want you to do the phone sales for them, or maybe they, need to lose 15 kilos before their wedding. Or I wish someone would run my Google ads for me. So we need to figure out what those problems are and what services we can offer to fix their problems. And if the problem is large enough, they're happily going to part with their hard-earned money if you can solve the problem for them. And also knowing their problems, you'll know what emotions to use in your copy when you're writing to them, how to speak to them, and be able to connect with them on an emotionally and more than just a rational level. And also to help us understand and write the stories that we tell to them. So basically that's how you answer their biggest fears and frustrations and challenges. Moving on. So what are their hopes, dreams, and desires? So knowing your buyers' hopes, dreams, and desires helps you paint a vivid picture of what life could be like after using your products and services. Think of it as selling the dream and painting a picture of the promised land. So when your products and services help your dream buyer attain their hopes, dreams, and desires, it becomes much more easy to write copy for your landing pages, for example, your website, your ads, your assets, and you can leverage these to sell more goods and services. So, for example, if someone says, I want to have my website ranked higher on Google, what we would say to speak to their desires is guaranteed Google rankings in 90 days, or we work for free, for example. Or if someone says, I'm worried someone will break into my house and steal all my possessions that I've worked so hard to get, we can say our 24/7 security service makes your home almost impenetrable by crooks, thieves, and robbers, keeping your belongings and family safe. So we're really covering all bases there and making them feel very comfortable. Okay, so moving on, what are their biggest fears? So you have to find out, what are they scared of? What keeps them up at night? What makes them toss and turn around in bed? What do they worry about in their mind but never tell anybody? So fully understanding your market's deepest and most primal fears is an overlooked component. However, it's equally as important, if not more, than understanding their hopes, dreams, and desires. And the reason for that is because people are more motivated by pain than they are by pleasure. So I don't know if you guys have heard that saying where a lot of those sort of ancient times, they'd always say, I'd rather be feared than loved. It's because they get its fear is a lot more powerful, and they maintain that. Yeah. So yeah, that's why that's still the same today. Things don't change. We've still got a primal brain that's it's only like 50,000 years old. So we're still relatively primal in the way.
I think, if we were talking about an example, I think for our audience, for example, say you're trying to get a new home loan. What would some of the biggest fears be? For example, if I was trying to get a new home loan, I would think about things like, hey, what if one day I suddenly lost my job and, couldn't pay back? That's a big fear I would have. What if the housing market crashes? What happens then?
What happens?
Big changes in the economy. Like, I would think about all these things. And you, as, say, a mortgage broker, you need to be able to provide that advice. You need to be able to answer those questions. You need to have those answers. And part of identifying that customer and really understanding them is to, write these answers down for yourself, just putting yourself into their shoes and trying to figure out what their biggest fears and such are.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. And moving on to number 6, what is their preferred form of communication? So again, it's sort of a common sense thing. So, but we have to write this down because it's very important. So, for example, is it email? Is it text? Is it, messenger? Is it, physical mail? Like understanding your audience and how you can communicate them to get the best response rates is very important and something that should not be overlooked. So what sort of phrases and exact language and vernacular do they use? So, for example, basically you want to communicate. So if you're talking to like tradies, for example, you want to keep it in their sort of language, like, with their ebonics and their way of saying things. So, for example, like if they like shortening words or they use more "g'day, mate" sort of things, like you want to use that with them as well, so they feel that you're also thinking the same as them and you're very familiar to them. Yeah, and also, so basically, yeah, more like as well, make sure you have a good sense of humor as well when you're talking to your current audience, your target market audience, and they'll think that you're talking directly to them. So it all ties in together. So and also we want to next, moving on, what does a day in your dream buyer's life look like? So we really want to write down an entire day, starting from when they wake up to the alarm clock. For example, he checks his inbox at 7:15. He's got like a lot of emails. He's got his Instagram. He's got his coffee at 8:10. Stuck in traffic at 8:32. Gets in the office at 9:03. Then at like 12:05, he has his poke bowl from his favorite hipster joint around the corner. So really, we want to see like what he's doing during the day, when we can reach out to him through those communications channels that we were mentioning before. So around lunchtime, for example, is a very good time, as he's always checking his phone, but we want to know what time they go for lunch. Like obviously tradies probably have lunch different time to, white collar workers, for example. So it's very important. Or if you're talking to an older audience, maybe they're having lunch at 3:00. You just don't know. Something that's got to be researched. Also, moving on to number 9, what makes them happy? So, our clients are, emotional beings, and they want to interact with companies and brands and make them feel good about themselves. You can insert like surprises, do the unexpected, be remarkable, and, try and bring a smile to their face. So maybe, for example, a thank you note or a personalized email sent on their birthday, or free box of, chocolates, cookies, just inserting, happiness into the buyer's journey and create a deeper level of emotional connection that cultivates loyal and raving fans for the long term. And after answering all these questions, just write a paragraph summarizing your findings. It could look like this summary of Sally, the dream buyer for a new app focused on environmentally friendly mothers. Sally loves spending time reading stories and getting tips from other mums, and learning about parenthood in the Mothers of Melbourne Facebook group. Blah blah blah. Her lifelong dream is start her own interior design business so she can have a creative outlet and have more me time. The end result is a much deeper, more intimate understanding where you can reach your dream buyers and how to speak to them. The compounding result will cause massive breakthroughs and geometrically grow your business and allow you to dominate the market. But guys, keep in mind, defining your target market is one of the hardest parts of starting a business. So, yeah,
and
the good news is once you've done it, everything will start falling into place.
Yeah, look, yes, I think something that's very important here is see a lot of people, especially those of you who are going to get this by email, you might think, hey, you guys probably just don't do all of this, do you? Like we actually do. We spend a very significant amount of time really putting in these details. And you know, this is the exact system that we use in our business to attract more clients. And this is also the exact same business that strategy that we are using, that we have used for a lot of these clients that are currently sitting in for the live webinar. We've done it for plenty of them. With and there's good reason for it as well, because if you don't get this part right, every step that follows will be wrong, because you cannot create an ad, you cannot do anything. And if you do, you're essentially just wasting your money, because you're going to be, if we go back to what we were talking about at the start about dating, if you fail this part, essentially what you're going to be doing is proposing to random strangers on the street. And you might think, hey, this part is easy, wouldn't take that much time. We would just highly recommend every single one of you to really, really dig deep, put in as much detail as possible, and take your time with identifying your angel buyer, because it probably is the most significant part. I would say, Josh, wouldn't you say so? I think if we didn't put in this much detail, assuming hypothetically, if we didn't put in this much detail into finding new business for our business partners, I feel like we would just not find any new revenue for them in our own business. If we stop doing this, I feel like 80% of our revenue would be gone tomorrow.
Yeah, more like I reckon 98%.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because this is the foundation of really the foundation of growth, essentially.
Yeah.
And this is also the part where everyone gets wrong. So it's very significant that you do it right. So we hope you've gotten you've for those of you who've joined us via email, we hope you have taken down some notes. We've put in I hope we've put in some gems here and there, because these are the strategies that we employ here as an agency. There's nothing different. We are not excluding anything here. This is literally what we do for every client, and to grow our own business as well. And Josh, we have implemented this in so many niches. It's always the same.
Over 100 niches, guys. I think we're up to 137 at the moment. So and we've been successful in every single niche because we followed this strategy and this methodology. Yeah. So yeah, very important, guys.
Yeah, it is just a start. So I just wanted to take the time to emphasize how important it was before we move on to the next stage. So in summary, guys, make sure you're identifying that 4%, of your angel buyer. From that point onwards, you can use that worksheet we mentioned, which we nicknamed the Apex strategy. Actually, most of our current business partners would probably be sick of hearing about it. I know David is.
David.
So actually, Josh, you know what? I guess we're at the end of this email video.
Of the free version of this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll continue with premium. Premium members stay on. But
we'll continue on the webinar.
We are stopping for the free guys here.
So we'll stop right here. But stay tuned, because the next one will be coming to you next Tuesday, where we continue on this short web series. But before you do that, I actually would like to offer this to you guys. If you want the PDFs and the worksheets that we are giving out to the webinar attendees today, all you're going to do is just respond directly to this email. This email would have come to you via my or Josh's personal email addresses. So we'll be sending you those worksheets, those PDFs, those extra documents directly from our personal emails.
Yeah.
So it's not automated. We're responding to you directly. On top of that, for those of you who are a little bit more familiar with us, you might have heard of the free strategy sessions that we do provide every month.
It's unlimited.
Yeah, which really we cannot emphasize this enough. They get filled up, booked out so fast. The strategy session that we provide is where we actually listen to problems that you currently, as a business, are having in terms of growth, scaling, advertising, and such. And we create a free strategy around that for you over a 30-minute phone call. If you want to make that booking, um, we'll include the link below. Just click on that, fill out the quick questionnaire, and make just select a booking. I hope there's still a couple left for
Yeah. Well,
um,
for this month, I think
yeah,
there's a few
or
more left. Last month,
yeah,
though, we ran out actually the start of the month in 7 minutes. So
yeah, that was insane.
I don't
I
know what
think
was going on last month was the record.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that that's the record that we have not had so far. Like the whole month booked out in 7 minutes. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so go ahead and do that, and we'll get back to you. But yeah, if you enjoyed our little series, the first of the first video of multi-part series, feel free to shoot us a message if you had any questions. We'll try to get back to you. And stay tuned. Like I said, stay tuned. Next Tuesday, next part's coming in. We'll have more from us as to what we're implementing in our own agency and to our own clients here that you can implement in your own business, whatever industry you're from, whatever the size of your business is. These are proven battle tested strategies. So yeah, thank you again very much for joining in today. And yeah, from everyone here at Growth Hanger, we definitely wish you the best. And we hope you can take the value from today and the following weeks and really use that to help take off your business to the next level. So, yeah, shoot for the stars and you'll hear from us very soon. Thanks all.
Thanks, guys.